Welcome to another episode of Grub Masters. I'm John Deary, and today I'm going to teach you how to clean your Dutch ovens. We were actually yesterday at a camporee, a Boy Scout camporee, and we were using the opportunity to teach the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts how to use their Dutch ovens to cook in. And I came home with some dirty pots. So I'm going to show you how I wash them up and keep them as shiny as they were when I got them. So in here you can see that I actually have some pizza residue. So it's mostly flour and dough, a little bit of sauce, and some cheese got on there. So we're going to clean it up just like new. So a couple tools. You need a stove. You need a heat source. If it's not a stove, use a campfire. If you're at home, you could use your gas range top. That'll work well. I have the 3-burner stove out today, so it's going to make pretty quick work of this. You're going to need some oil for your seasonings. I like to use the spray oil. It's just super convenient. It does a great job. You're going to need a scraper for any of those stubborn bits. Plastic scraper while it's cold. You're just going to come in here, scrape off any big chunks. Imagine you're doing a cherry cobbler or something, a roast. There's going to be some bits that are stuck on there. So we try to scrape those out really good. And then we'll take a paper towel and we're just going to kind of wipe them all out. Get all those little bits out. Okay. So I'm kind of chunk free now. So what we're going to do is we're going to just wash this down. We're going to wash it down with a brush, a fibrous brush. You don't want to use a plastic brush. Please, I've done that by mistake once and it's just made a big plastic smear all around the inside of my pot. So get yourself a fibrous vegetable scrubber brush. Lodge sells these. They're a little expensive. I got these at the Christmas tree shops, but they don't carry them anymore, so keep an eye out for a cheap source. If you know where to get some of these, put them in the comments down below. That'd be great. Anyway, let me get into how to clean these. I learned this from my friend Carl Kugler. He's probably the master of Dutch ovens. Super, super simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some hot water. We're going to put it into our pot. Our pot's over the flame, and we're just going to heat this up. So hot water, not super cold water. We don't want to shock the pot, which could potentially warp it. But I'm just going to use the brush, that hot water in there, near boiling water. And I'm just going to brush around, up and down the sides. I'm going to get the lip where I got some charcoal ash. The tag out of the way. Do all around the lip. I want my Dutch oven to make a nice tight seal next time I close it. And that's it. So first pass is done. I'll set the brush aside. Now I'm going to use the next essential tool. I'm going to use some welder's gloves. As Carl just reminded me, you get those really pretty red gloves, but they're pretty expensive. Or you could go to a discount hardware store and get some welder's gloves. You usually find a 3-pack for 10 bucks. So you can see this is almost clean already. I'm just going to repeat the process until the water runs really, really clear and I don't see any residue on the bottom. So you can see how hot I have this now. And that just helps to just loosen up any of those food particles. And this is basically clean water that's in there now. So more or less I'm done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and dump this again. Actually, I did see it ran just a little bit brown. So just repeat it one more time. The number of times you do this really differs on what was in your pot that you're trying to clean. So I just want this water to come out of this pot almost as clean as when I put it in, if not as clean as when I put it in. And that's how I know that there was nothing in there. So I'm just dumping my gray water here into a 5-gallon bucket so I can dispose of that properly. And now I'm essentially just going to let this pot sit over the flame, and I really want all that moisture to evaporate off. If you wipe it down, trust me, there'll still be a thin layer of water in there. You really need to let this evaporate out. And at that point, you know all the water's gone. You really want no water in there because the water is what causes the rust. So now that that is just bone dry, I'm going to take my spray oil and give it a light coating. And while it's still hot, I'm going to grab a clean paper towel. You could use a clean rag, but paper towels work really well because they're disposable. And I'm just going to work everything in without touching the side with my hand. And that's it. So, as you can see, this pot is as good as new. Let me get you a close-up on that. So that is as clean as the day I got it. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside. And I'm going to show you how to do the lid. So the first thing, I got a little ash on my lid, so I'm going to just knock that off. Lid's much the same way, it's just it's a lot shallower. I'm going to throw that on some water. And there doesn't really appear to be anything on the lid, so I'm going to give it a quick once-over. Brush it, get all on that lip. And we'll give this a dump. And now same thing, I'm going to let that evaporate off. And I'm going to spray it down with some oil. And as soon as I see all these little water bits evaporate off, we'll give it a spray. I'm telling you, I could feel this heat from here. So this is hot. Again, if you're going to do this over an open campfire, you're going to want to position your logs appropriately so that you could get this lid maybe straddled across a couple logs. The pots are easier to just hang in there or hang from a tripod, but if you have a stove available, it is by far the easiest way to do this. So again, I'm just going to really quick wipe that in, and that's it. So I'm going to pull that off before the oil burns, and smoking clean. And that is how you clean a Dutch oven. Super simple, super easy. I would recommend that you do this while you're done eating. Get your pots up. They're already going to be hot, somewhat hot. Don't let stuff dry off on them. You can get a paper towel in there, run them around, get the pot as clean as possible to go through this rinse cycle a bunch of times. And again, call out to my friend Carl Kugler for showing me how to do this. It's kept my pots as shiny as the day I got them. And even the one that I have that's really old, I ran it through this cycle, just continue with the hot water, just blast that food scum off of there, and they just look great. So thanks again for watching. Please like our videos, subscribe certainly, and if there's anything you want to see us do or you want to see us cook, put it in the comments and we'll see what we can do to accommodate you. Thanks.